Good afternoon. My name is Pedro, and I'm a research fellow at the University of Minho in Portugal. This session aims to present an online career intervention training model. This training model was designed to prepare psychologists for immediate action in the field within the scope of an action research project. We also included some of the conclusions we were able to draw after conducting a pilot study on data before and during the training. So given the two goals just mentioned, we have decided to organize the presentation the following way. We will start by presenting the training, giving it some context by introducing the project and the intervention within which this training inserts. Then we will briefly present the theoretical basis of the intervention, which was a starting point for the contents of the training. We will then present the goals, structure, and contents of the training, and finally, the used evaluation methodology. We will then move to the conducted pilot study, presenting the sample, some of the obtained results in a general manner, and close with the conclusions, limitations, and practical implications. So moving to the training. The training, as I have said before, is within the scope of an action research project. The Careers Project aims to develop career management skills and lifelong learning among people experiencing unemployment, precarious employment, or with an interest in improving their qualification levels and progressing professionally. The project was developed in Algarve, which is a tourism-dependent region in Portugal. The intervention is based on theoretical and empirical evidence with a special focus on adult life. The overall goal is through workshops to encourage reflection and decision-making in the specific context of the workshop's participants' educational, professional, and life projects. In the sessions, the participants have the opportunity to explore their personal strengths, employability, and career management skills and resources. The intervention takes place in small groups, each delivered by 2 psychologists specialized in the area of vocational psychology and career development. And this is exactly where the training necessity comes in. That is, the training emerged from the necessity of training psychologists for this end. The social cognitive career theory inspired the design of the intervention. Specifically, the career self-management model assumes particular importance in addressing the issue of employability, which is a key construct of the project. The trainees learn that career self-management and employability results from the dynamic interaction between individual characteristics, individual resources, and external factors. They were also trained respecting the theoretical rationality of the intervention, which is based on the assumptions of the content process context model for career interventions. That is, career intervention is seen as a pathway to empower clients to make decisions and adapt to various career decisions throughout their professional life. Besides, some recommendations in counselor education were also taken into account. For instance, a solid theoretical foundation, the context, the link between theory and practice, and experiential learning. And finally, some of the precautions on training planning were also considered regarding the assessment of needs, goal setting, content selection, and evaluation system. We have followed the 4-level evaluation model proposed by Kirkpatrick and Kirkpatrick. So the general goal of the training was to qualify psychologists in terms of theoretical, scientific, and technical competencies related to the dynamization of a psychological intervention in employability and career management with unemployed adults. And the specific goals involved the acquaintance with the most recent theoretical and empirical perspectives on employability, the awareness of the specific needs for working with populations in situation of economic and social vulnerability, the familiarization with cultural heritage and the context, the identification and description of the effectiveness criteria and critical ingredients of career interventions, the understanding of the challenges of the use of communication technologies in this context, and the learning, reflection, and implementation of strategies and activities contemplated in the intervention. The training was accredited by the Portuguese Order of Psychologists in the areas of educational psychology, work, social and organizational psychology, and vocational and career development psychology. A training manual was developed and delivered to the participants at the beginning of the training, containing general information about the training, namely the goals, structure, scheduling, pedagogical methodology, the program contents, bibliographical and pedagogical resources for each module, evaluation and certification methodology, as well as information about the precautions to take in online training. The training was structured in 4 modules, divided in 7 sessions with 6 hours each for a total of 42 hours of training. It was undertaken online, with half of the session being synchronous learning, while the other half was asynchronous. The first module was on theoretical and empirical perspectives on employability and career self-management, and some of the contents included the approaches in the construction of life projects for unemployed adults, as well as models of employability and construction of life projects. The second module, Psychological Career Intervention in Employability, included strategies for attending and guiding groups in situations of social and economic vulnerability, and, for instance, the critical ingredients of career intervention. The third was named Employability and Career Self-Management Intervention, including themes as the use of ICT in career interventions, the model, structure, and contents of the intervention, as well as tasks more practical of organizing the groups and process of intervention. And the fourth was supervision and monitoring of the implementation of the intervention. Moving to the evaluation methodology, the evaluation has been made in essentially 2 moments. One was before the training and the other was during the training. Before the training, we have applied a social demographic questionnaire to assess the participants' age, nationality, qualifications, experience, and current professional situation, and a diagnostic evaluation questionnaire, which was designed to assess the participants' technical and theoretical knowledge. This questionnaire includes 41 questions answered with true or false, and the scores were then converted in a 0 to 20 scale. During the training, we have used 2 instruments that we asked the trainees to answer in all the sessions, which they usually did during the asynchronous session, together with other activities like reading the suggested bibliography, for instance. So these instruments were the evaluation worksheets, which were designed to assess the participants' knowledge and engagement throughout the training. The worksheets open questions vary according to the session's objectives. These were then evaluated by 3 independent juries through a previously established evaluation grid, also in a scale of 0 to 20. And the participants' final grade corresponds to the mean of the 3 jury scores. And also during the training, a quality evaluation questionnaire, which was designed to assess the participants' perceptions on the training in terms of management and organization, objectives, needs, value of the training, and the trainers. In a total of 15 items, 13 were answered in a 5-point scale, and 2 were open-ended questions. The collected data was then converted in a 0 to 20 scale too, and the qualitative answers were subjected to content analysis. So as a way to better explain the application of these instruments during the training, we are presenting table 2, which discriminates the themes and activities of each of the 7 worksheets we have designed. So for instance, in the first module, in the first session, besides responding to the diagnostic evaluation and to the quality evaluation questionnaire, participants responded to the first worksheet, which was about the aspects considered fundamental for the intervention. In the second session, the evaluation worksheet was reflection on the care to be taken and the specificities of intervening with the unemployed. In both worksheets, the participants were given also the opportunity of addressing additional questions in order to explore those in next sessions. Another example are the last 3 worksheets, which were all about each of the training modules. And now moving to the study. The study was conducted between February and March 2022. The trainees were 8 psychologists, which were hired under the Careers Project and who participated in the training for implementing the intervention. The participants were all female and Portuguese, aged between 24 and 39. 7 were masters in psychology, and all of them worked in different regions of the country with a range of experience between 0 and 13 years. The trainers, the 6 trainers were also all female and Portuguese, aged between 25 and 63. 3 of these were doctorates with an advanced specialization in vocational psychology and career development. 2 were first-year doctoral students, and 1 was a master in psychology. Altogether, they worked in the north of the country with a range of experience between 2 and 40 years. So all of our data analysis intended firstly to describe the trainees' level of knowledge before and their level of knowledge and involvement throughout the training, and then to analyze the performance and perceived quality of the training. So for the first part, Table 3 presents the participants' results in each of the different evaluation moments and the mean score of the total evaluations. The results indicate that out of the 8 participants, 3 have lowered their performance, but only 1 achieving negative results, which is the one in red, while the other 5 which are the ones in green, have increased their results. The results are always in comparison with the grades obtained initially at the diagnosis evaluation. As to the performance and satisfaction level, as a means of better explaining the variability of the results, Table 4 presents the total mean of the participants' evaluation, as well as the mean of the quality evaluation and the most referred themes in the qualitative evaluation by module. Globally, participants had the highest learning results in Module 1, followed by Modules 4, 2, and 3. The participants' perception of the quality of the training indicates that Module 3 registered the higher level of satisfaction, followed by Modules 1, 2, and 4. The overall results for quality evaluation are considered high. The responses to the qualitative evaluation indicate satisfaction with the contents, the suitability of the activities, and with the overall training organization. We should also note that in this matter, the perception of need of more practical examples appears in modules 2 and 4, which are the ones participants are less satisfied with. Also, we must highlight the fact that despite Module 3 being the one participants are more satisfied, are the most satisfied with, the results from the session's evaluation is the lowest in that module. So, moving to the conclusions, in a general note, the training program obtained what can be considered good results in terms of content and structure, but also in perceived quality and overall satisfaction. The majority of the participants has evolved their learning throughout the training, and as intended, the present study allowed us to conclude about the suitability of the training contents, as well as the necessity of training career counselors for specific intervention models. While the present study doesn't focus on the posterior results of the training course on a more practical side, that would be, for instance, the evaluation of the professional's performance in the real intervention, the overall results are promising and suggest the training offered is a valid proposal for replication. The program to be replicated must take into account the need for more practical cases or exercises. As for the limitations of the training, we must have in mind that this modality of training completely through online means may not be suited for all the participants, and that this fact may also impact their engagement with the training course. The evaluation methodology is only also the evaluation methodology is only throughout the training and not based on the psychologist's performance after the training. An alternative would be to introduce a post-test or the planning and implementation of an evaluation system which extended to the intervention phase. As for the limitations of the study's sample consists of only 8 subjects, and although it allows us to understand the impact of the training on the participants in a qualitative and comparative basis, it does not allow us to make conclusions in a more significant way. And finally, to the practical implications, we believe that training psychologists in the career field is a reported need in Portugal and worldwide, and it must be a priority. Only qualified professionals can attend to the community's needs. Also, detailing the type of training can inspire universities and career services to create appropriate and empirically supported training models. For that, it is our role to ensure the conduction and dissemination of studies that detail career training programs and methodologies. And finally, professionals aware of the needs of diverse populations, like with the unemployed, will be able to provide more effective support to them to provide effective career counseling. Thank you for your attention. I don't know if anyone has any questions or comments on the presentation. Thank you. Yes, I sent the presentation to the event organization. I don't know if they will share all the presentations, but yeah, I really don't know if the organization is going to share it. But anyway, thank you. Thank you for your feedback. We have been working on this. I'm sorry. The question. Working on the project. You mean the project is okay. The project is for about 1 year, but this part specifically, the part relative to the training was sorry, I'm just looking at my notes here. The data was collected between February and March. Sorry for taking so long. I didn't want to give you wrong information. The project has been for about 6 months, and the data for the training was collected in between February and March. Right now, we are still collecting data. We still don't in terms of plans. We don't. We are starting to evaluate the project's efficacy, but we are actually planning at. I think it's important about the design of the investigation to note one thing. like this training was made in the framework of an action research project, as I have explained, and that's why this training was provided. The training was provided in the plan of that project, since the hiring and the training of psychologists was our responsibility. For that reason, this training was foreseen in the project plan and not done or planned for research purposes, but nevertheless we plan at a later stage to use the data from the intervention to evaluate its results, including the performance of the psychologists during the intervention. Since they were evaluated indeed by the participants of the intervention throughout all the sessions. So we still do not have that data, but at a later, in a short future, that's one of our objectives. I don't know if I made myself clear. Thank you. If anyone has any, okay. I don't know if anyone has any other questions. Oh, okay, Christina. Yeah, this is a financed project, so it has like a time frame. It will end at in the next at the final of April next. The intervention was designed specifically for the participants of this study, which were the psychologists which were hired under the careers project. I don't know. I hope this answers your question. If anyone has any other questions, please feel free to send them. Okay. Inês, some conclusions about the results. Yes, we believe that there's an important note to make. Our results relate to the continuous evaluation of the trainees' engagement throughout the sessions. This means that the evaluation grids we created to evaluate the worksheets in a quantitative manner regard the participants' investment in answering the worksheets and in studying the training contents. Our results can, for that reason, be due to the lack of engagement, given that they result from the evaluation of the autonomous work the trainees made during the asynchronous sessions. Since the worksheets could be answered while consulting the training contents and the suggested bibliography, the more complete and reasoned the participants' answers were, the more interest and involvement they would show in the training. I hope I made myself clear. Okay. We will now finish this workshop in here. Thank you all for the questions and for the feedback. And we hope to see you soon.